Indonesian Tzu Chi volunteers provided relief aid for the families devastated by a tornado. Following Typhoon Vamco, Philippine Tzu Chi volunteers are distributing cash cards to more than 40,000 families. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Joyce Ho. Thank you for joining us. In Indonesia, a tornado devastated Great Karimun last month, damaging 77 houses. Tzu Chi volunteers provided construction materials and cash relief for 3 households who were severely affected.
In the aftermath of tornado, the old house has become even more dilapidated.
Karena sebagian besar sudah dihandle sama pemerintah, jadi kita sekarang
Government has provided some help, so we provide what the government has not given out.
Seperti kita ada ya batuan seng, plat.
They include zinc roof materials and consolation cash.
Yang kita bisa bantu sama santunan uang tunai.
After the wall fell and residents were injured, people continue to guard their houses because they cannot lose anymore.
Cuman gara-gara hujan lagi,
It rained suddenly and the wall collapsed, injuring my child and me. Fortunately, my husband was safe. However, my child suffered a head injury, so I took him to the hospital.
Henry's home is a wooden house, and the storm is still strong. The collapsed tree only damaged the area behind the house.
Kalau waktu seminggu kena kemarin, dibilang sulit ya sulit lah. Soalnya belum bisa kerja.
In the first week after tornado struck, I had a difficult time as I could not resume work. I had to clean up the house. It was still wet in the house. There was no roof. I covered it with wooden boards and I have not fastened it with nails.
Karimun Tzu Chi volunteers that provided zinc plates, wooden boards, and other construction materials, helping the affected residents get through the tough times.
Indonesia Tzu Chi Hospital is expected to start operation in April next year. Volunteers took the initiative to make surgical drapes needed in the operating rooms, contributing their part to the medical mission.
This fabric is cut to size, and all the surgical drapes to be used in the Indonesia Tzu Chi Hospital are sewn by Tzu Chi volunteers one by one.
We are all Tzu Chi volunteers. When Tzu Chi needs us, we should try our best to do it as long as we can.
The aim of the hospital is to help people, so we have to give more because the hospital belongs to the medical mission.
Volunteers with many years of sewing experience are contributing their part. Although Jessica's major is fashion design, she liked to make clothes by herself since youth. This time, she actively participates in this work.
I've learned it before, and I've used my mom's sewing machine very often since I was in grade 6.
The Indonesia Tzu Chi Hospital is expected to start operations in April next year to safeguard the health of the local community.
In Malaysia, a Tzu Chi care recipient Lee Ah Choon fell into despair following the loss of her son. Penang Tzu Chi volunteers encouraged her to help with the production of isolation gowns for medical professionals, finding new meaning in life.
"70-year-old Lee Ah Choon relies on her sewing skills to support her entire family. However, her work also makes her feel sad.
Every day, I sit in the room sewing clothes. I continue to work, and I did not talk with him. If I know he will pass away so soon, I will take him out. Therefore, I feel painful because I did not take good care of him."
Her youngest son had a rough life. He lost his eyesight due to brain tumor at 11, and then he became paralyzed at 34. In November, he passed away due to illness.
In the past, her son's expenses were great, especially because he needed milk powder. So we helped him financially. Now that the child has passed away, the mother must feel empty. She doesn't have anyone to rely on.
Tzu Chi volunteers encouraged this mother who has lost her loved one to make protective gowns and find a focus in life.
My son has just passed away. I heard that they need helpers, so I help make protective gowns. I'm making them with bravery because I still miss my child. The protective gowns protect doctors and nurses, so it is a good deed. Without doctors, who will care for us? This is something I'm able to do. I will do this even if I do not have time.
The strong mother puts aside her thoughts about her son and makes protective gowns for medical personnel.
In Malaysia, the champion of this year's National Science Challenge was 3 students from Tzu Chi High School in Penang with an invention of a temperature and distance detection badge, hoping to help people keep social distances.
Jitsing Pulau Penang of Malaysia's Penang is among the top schools in the country, performing outstandingly in academics and extracurricular activities.
Keep a social distance of 2 meters.
In several international competitions, they have done well. The latest is a virtual science challenge.
The winner of the 2020 Virtual National Science Challenge is SMJK Jitsing Pulau Penang.
Their invention is a badge which can detect the distance between you and the next person and their body temperature.
We encourage students to explore this challenge so they may look to expand their talents since this is such a technology-filled era. We want them to learn about science and develop the skill they need for this type of new learning.
Wearing the device when the system detects a person who is less than 1 meter away or someone with a body temperature of over 37.5 degrees Celsius, then it will send out a warning.
Sometimes when I go to the traditional market with my mother, I'll see the market crowded with people and social distancing being ignored. Everyone knows they should keep their distance from one another, but we're unable to have an accurate measure of such distances. So we thought there should be technology to help us accurately tell us how far we should stay away from each other. It serves as a safety warning.
During their designing process, the students look to their teachers' suggestions to perfect their invention.
We try to provide the students a different point of view and have them explore different opinions. Everyone has their own opinion and we can all choose from the best one. But in the end, the ideas are from the students.
The students are still perfecting the badge and hope to provide it as a useful tool to the country to combat COVID-19. The success of the students in this challenge lies in the school's encouragement and placed importance on such outside activities.
The most important thing to take away from extracurricular activities to me is to learn lessons we cannot from textbooks. For example, how to communicate with friends and how to accept another's idea or how to work as a team.
We are a skill and not experts on invention production. So we need help in those areas from kind-hearted people who are willing to work with us and share their experience with us. Of course, we are open to working with companies to mass produce these items for the betterment of mankind.
During this special time, social distancing is a way to keep us safe from the virus, and it is hoped with this invention, more people will be aware of the distance we need to keep from one another to prevent the spread of the virus.
Social distancing is a current global precaution to avoid the spread of COVID-19. However, many people in Malaysia are not keeping their distance when they have got masks on. Dr. Chi Hui, an expert on infectious diseases, is giving her advice in our following report.
COVID-19 is still going strong in all parts of the world, and each country has their own precaution guidelines, including the one that the World Health Organization has recommended, which is to keep at least 1 meter of social distancing. However, in different countries, social distancing takes on different distances.
Different countries have different social distancing safety measures because it takes into account the country's environment, like temperature. If it's a hot climate, then when droplets come out, it evaporates quickly. So it's smaller, and with the added air circulating, then the respiratory droplets will fly elsewhere. So when you speak face-to-face with another person, they're less likely to be affected by your droplets.
Malaysia government has set the standard that in public forums, people must keep at least 1 meter between one another. To this standard, Dr. Chi Hui explains that to further prevent the spread of the virus, it is best to keep at least 2 meters from the next person.
If you ask me, I'll keep myself over 1 meter away from another person. In research, of course, increased safety measures is 2 meters, and that lessens your infection rate to 0.1% or even 0.001%.
Since June 10th, Malaysia has enacted the Recovery Movement Control Order, and most economic-related operations are back in business, while abiding to the necessary prevention SOP. With life seemingly back to normal, it seems people are getting careless in their prevention routine. While remembering to wear a mask, they often forget to keep their social distance.
If you wear the medical mask, there's still air vents and holes on the side. So if a person talks, the air from them can still escape from the air vents on the side. If they're standing next to you less than 1 meter away. For fabric masks, it is not able to filter the virus. So if you're wearing a fabric mask, it's best to keep your distance to 2 meters.
Being out in public, sometimes it is hard to keep one social distance from another. The WHO suggests minimal going outside, and each time grocery purchases should be enough for a week's worth, and to reduce physical contact with another. Also, Dr. Chi shares on how to avoid the virus in an enclosed space such as the elevator.
In the elevator, which has corners drawn up, if I go in and I pick out spots closest to the door and facing the elevator doors, and if someone behind me coughs, and then when the elevator door opens, the wind will circulate and helps to decrease infection rate. It's best not to talk inside the elevator. Mainly, I want to tell everyone that you should keep in mind to keep your distance from people. Even if others don't keep to social distance, you should do so for your own safety.
To prevent the spread of the virus, protection starts with you and me. As with our increased awareness and participation, can we successfully flatten the curve?
Following the devastation of Typhoon Vamco, Tzu Chi Philippines chapter carried out a work for relief cleanup program in Marikina and San Mateo for more than 2 weeks. This week, Tzu Chi further provided financial aid, distributing cash cards loaded with $300 to $500 to more than 40,000 families.
Today, we're distributing Master's Consolation Cash for the affected residents. In this place in Marikina, there are more than 3,000 households. In the entire bureau, we will help 13,000 households.
I was then the Vice Mayor of Marikina in 2009 during Ondoy, so I was able to visit Master Chen Yan in Taiwan. You don't forget in helping people, especially the people of Philippines. Thank you.
Since grade 1, I've known Tzu Chi for a long time. My child has been Tzu Chi scholarship recipient since first grade. I hope that one day I can reciprocate Tzu Chi's assistance. This time, residents can withdraw their consolation cash from any Metropolitan Bank's ATM. Residents do not need to line up at any bank at the same time. This is very convenient for them.
Magpapa-general check-up ako because I am very sickly. I am a breast cancer survivor and I am using insulin. So I need a general check-up. I will use this money for my general check-up. Every Sunday noon eh. And then, nag-iipon po ako ng mga kalakal. Binibigay ko po sa kanila noon.
Bakit? Dahil ng 2000 na ako'y kagawad po ay nakitulong na...
When Ketsana struck in 2009, I saw how Tzu Chi volunteers cared for a fellow countryman. I did not expect that Tzu Chi volunteers will still be there 10 years later. I am very grateful. Because of you, our bureau residents have learned to love and help one another.
Sa amin sa Barangay Tumanay, kita namin ang pagmamahal.
Philippines Tzu Chi volunteers continue to distribute rice to jeepney drivers affected by COVID-19. To reciprocate Tzu Chi's assistance, one driver donated all her savings since he became a jeepney driver, hoping to help those affected by the typhoons.
I have 8 children. Although I have many children, my family is very happy. With our care, they have enough to eat and can grow up safely. Tzu Chi's rice is the best Christmas gift for us.
This Christmas kahit panahon siya ng pandemic.
If the pandemic has stolen a family's Christmas tree, their gratitude and content is the key to their finding holiday joy again.
The money I donate is what I've saved since I became a driver. I feel very happy because I can help people in need.
A bag of 20 kilograms of rice a month allows the family to have enough to eat. It helps lessen the financial burden of single father Edgardo.
Tzu Chi has given me a lot of help. This is the 3rd time they're helping me.
Philippine Tzu Chi volunteers have given them rice and will also accompany them as they get through the tough times.
In order to contribute to the Philippines typhoon relief, Sri Lankan Tzu Chi volunteers are collecting bamboo banks in Hambantota, while Tzu Chi youth in Colombo cooked dim sum platters to raise funds.
The young generation has the power to do anything. Colombo Chiting and Jinshi young volunteers, who are accompanied by their parents, are making small pizzas, spring rolls and pies.
We discussed in our last meeting how to help typhoon-affected residents in the Philippines. Everyone agrees to raise funds through promoting vegetarian food. So I temporarily put down my personal work to support my son and the young people to raise funds.
One of the special dishes in South Asia is biryani, which is put in a reusable pottery pot. Volunteers deliver it personally to the people who'd ordered it before.
Just want to say thank you because it has been a good thing to do, and we have been able to help in charity as well. So just want to say thank you once again.
In Hambantota, during the monthly aid distribution day, Tzu Chi volunteers show members of the public what is happening around the world. Learning about the disaster, everyone prays together and made donations to the bamboo corn bank, which are full of blessings.
Most of the time I'll donate to the bamboo coin bank. I hope I can join the ranks of helping the needy.
Following the rules, the elders have not gone out, but stay in their home to wait for Tzu Chi volunteers to come and make donations to circulate the love.
In order to achieve the goal of 20% power generation by renewable energy in 2025, many farmlands in Taiwan have been sectioned for the installation of solar panels, resulting in fragmented farming areas. Recently, the Council of Agriculture has put the brakes on the situation for more rigorous review.
A big sign stands at this eye-catching intersection between Linbian and Jiadong. The developer invites those with about 600 hectares to participate together. In Pingdong, it is also a hot topic as many seek to make money with solar energy.
It's about $1,300 for 970 square meters of land. So if you have 5 such plants, it's $6,000. You don't need to do anything for the year and you get this money. Young people only make $600 a month, and in 10 months, I get $6,200.
Before, a few people had an interest in this land, but now that it can be rented out for solar power has become very popular. People came in search of land for 2 or 3 days, also posted purchase information. As a contractor installing solar panels, several plots of land are rushed into development, at the same time making it too busy to do site inspections.
Of course, we will keep doing it. That is, we keep doing it till we finish 600 hectares.
Pingdong has an average equivalent of 4.5 hours of sunshine, the highest in Taiwan. It was the first municipality in Taiwan to actively promote solar power. Damage caused by Typhoon Morakot 11 years ago severely damaged coastal areas. It was difficult for aquaculture or farming to recover. From that time on, Pingdong allowed solar panels to be installed on top of ponds and reservoirs.
As of September 2020 this year, we have connected actual renewable energy to the grid with installed capacity reaching 506 megawatts.
In the past 10 years, Pingdong's renewable energy has continued to increase, generating 830 million kilowatt hours per year, which is enough to supply more than half of Pingdong counties. This isn't just supported by coastal water-based panels, as inland farms also contribute.
When you look at green power from a commercial point of view, profit is their only motive, as I think that some people have gone too far.
For a piece of land, so long as it does not exceed 660 square meters, it can be used for solar power, such as the piece behind me. But this policy has also caused the agricultural land to become fragmented, and the entire approved area in Taiwan has exceeded 300 hectares, which has seriously affected farming areas.
It doesn't take time or manpower to make electricity.
Swarms of people are rushing to set up solar panels, and farmland is becoming fragmented as farmers who sincerely cultivate the land are now exhausted.
We are farmers, and now we can hardly find a place to farm.
Mr. Chen, who plants wax apple, leases his land. He looks at the wax apple farm next to him, which has been replaced with solar panels, and he is filled with anger.
It is a pity that you use land which can be cultivated to simply make electricity. This is what we are looking at now, as the land is not being fully utilized.
Farming is very hard, and the risks are high. When something is profitable, they may abandon this and will lose food independence.
The solar power project, which covers just 660 square meters, has led Pingdong alone to encounter 702 cases. The solar panel chaos is getting more and more serious. The government finally wants to wrest control back, and in July this year, the review standards were revised.
We hope that our development will not be disorderly. In the end, at least we hope that it can be managed centrally.
For wind power and solar, we should not use 660 square meters of size to avoid land fragmentation.
Farmland shouldn't be abandoned, as many are wondering if planting and electricity generation go hand in hand.
Crops need sunlight, and if you shade them, there will not be enough photosynthesis.
Taiwan manufactures a large number of solar panels, and more than 90% of them are exported. The domestic solar power industry has advanced technology, and customization is not difficult.
This can be achieved by designing solar panels that have both power generation and light transmission. There are also some crops with low sunlight requirement on the farmland. If you want to grow things underground, you can develop it this way.
But if the people are unwilling to cooperate, chaos is still difficult to resolve.
It's impossible for everyone to visit every piece of land every day because we don't have so much manpower.
When farmland is turned into solar energy producers, the amount of electricity generated right now may be calculated. But when the land no longer grows food, will the price paid by the next generation be ultimately calculated?
Tzu Chi Indonesia Penang Liaison Office is working with the police force once again for the distribution of rice. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time.